If I had a tool so profound it could change your entire life, would you use it? If I had an experience outside of space, outside of time, how could I ever describe it? If I told you you were an infinite being having a human experience, would you quit your day job and follow your dreams? This is the density of choice after all. In this lifetime, all we have is now. This moment, right here, is the only one. The all in all, always. Your awareness is the only thing that lacks. So how does one expand their awareness to experience this eternal now? I think that every able body and mind should have a psychedelic experience. Once a rite of passage, now shrouded in fallacy and stigmatized, and just flat out lied about, this topic, the use of psychedelics, is extremely misunderstood by Western society. The benefits of using these medicines go so far as to say societal transformation on a mass scale could take place overnight. I mean real peace, harmony, and balance. Man can only hope to invent world peace, but this lies within, and only once can we realize this will mankind take the next steps in his evolution. Psychedelics are the tools to help us find this way. One of the main problems with today's world is that we are unconscious to the very fact that there is a problem in the first place. I was like this once. I saw nothing wrong with the way our society was modeled. I did not question much about it. I just went about my day. This is how most people live their lives, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they become tools of a corrupt system, and even go so far as to defend the status quo when it does not benefit them either. This is the coin termed cognitive dissonance. This disgruntled state of mind leads to one experience views which conflict with another with one's beliefs, leading to a fear-based reaction such as Blue Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter. We know how they see each other, yet they still support the cause. The riots in Baltimore alone costed $9 million. It's a matter of comfort mostly. It's quite nice to binge watch Netflix while children in Africa starve, and the CIA sends Slavs to Cuba to create anti-communist hip-hop, and the planet dies. And according to the NOAA, greenhouse gases have risen since 40% since 1990 alone, and yet we still have a population of people who refute these claims. The war on drugs has been going on since the mid-70s and really took root during the 1980s with Reaganomics and a slew of anti-drug propaganda. Substances like LSD and cannabis were said to be on par with heroin or meth, all Schedule I drugs with no medicinal value. Well, the government lied. They went south of the border and aided cocaine traffic to fund wars. Gary Webb wrote that during the 1980s, the CIA helped to finance covert war against Nicaragua's leftist government through sales of cut-rate cocaine to south-central LA. All while building the most populated prison system of all time. And after all this, the reverberations of these events can still be felt through the systemic issues that we face today. And nothing is changing. Why? Now that we are aware of the corruption, we must become aware of ourselves. There's a proverb about a monk who took years and years and years to walk on water. He told this to the Buddha, and the Buddha replied, "Why do all this if the ferry is only a nickel?" In some regard, this is the psychedelic experience. A shortcut to enlightenment. So why have this experience at all? What will I gain? Who should take psychedelics? Will I think that I'm an orange for all of eternity? Certain reservations must be made when going into this experience. Those with mental health issues such as bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, or other manic disorders should consult a shaman before undergoing. And it should be noted these substances will not give you a disorder, as some believe. It is only when one has an underlying condition can it then be brought forth. In fact, a study by Terry S. Krebs and Powell Orgen Johnson showed that even after a lifetime use of psychedelics, there were no negligible impacts on physical or mental health. A tool misused will hurt you, or break something, and the same goes for psychedelics. So it must be apprehended that these substances are tools and or medicine. When used in the proper set and setting, it is highly therapeutic. According to Matthew Johnson, a researcher at Johns Hopkins, this is because our default mode network slows down. This gives us our sense of self. When under the influence, this enables the mystic experience of oneness because the ego is turned off and we begin to realize the deeper truths of why we are here, who I am, and what really matters in life. By losing our sense of self, we may find it again. True realization comes when you're in the woods with your friends, off of 250 mics of LSD, listening to classical music, walking through the woods. The world stops, and you remember this is a dance, with no end, no beginning. This true sense of self comes when you realize it's all you. And everyone is just stardust after all. You're never the same after this experience. This, now, the time, the moment, everything is up to you. How we live, how we act is always up to us. Psychedelics aid us in expanding our awareness so that we may live a more holistic life, provide many psychological and neurological benefits. Today's society is filled with confusion and unhappiness. It seems like there is nowhere to turn. These substances can turn our confusion into clarity so that we may take the right action. So I think that everyone within the right set and setting who is psychologically sound should have a psychedelic experience. To quote Bill Hicks, today a young man on acid realized that all matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration, that we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There is no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we are the imaginations of ourselves. Here's Tom with the weather. And this, my friends, is why I ask you to engage in the psychedelic experience, so that we may be the profound, the positive, and the change.